going next? The first thing and the most important thing I think we'll be working on is to target more virtual machine backends. For the last 10 months that NQP has been in existence, it's had one purpose and one purpose only, which is to get us to Rakudo Star. That was its primary role was to be an engine on which we could write Rakudo Star and get that working. Now that we have Rakudo Star releases out and that project is going to be able to kind of sustain itself a little bit better, it's time to go back and look at NQP itself and turn it into a tool that other people can use. I would like to see other languages written for these virtual machines using NQP. For one, the parsing tools are incredible that Perl 6 grammars do, and we can do a lot of other things that we would like to do. So if somebody says, I want to write a Python to run on Parrot, I'd like them to target NQP. And then at some point, if it's in NQP, we might be able to take that same compiler and have it go to other backends as well. So we're going to be targeting more virtual machine backends like JVM and .NET. We are developing a new Perl, Jonathan is developing a new Perl 6 meta object protocol to replace the one we have now. The one we have now is kind of a hybrid between what Parrot provides and what Perl 6 needs, and it's a little bit messy. So we're going to try and do a clean implementation that would run on NQP and be written in NQP itself. We're probably going to re-implement major portions of the past compiler in NQP itself. Right now, much of it is still written in Peer, and it would be nice if that was written in NQP to help with self-hosting. We'll work on serialization support. That needs to go hand in hand with the meta object stuff that's being created and a variety of other things. By having good serialization, we should be able to make Rakudo startup and execution time a lot faster. There's an NQP book that I'm supposed to be writing, but I'm about 3 months behind on. So there's going to be a book that targets just NQP, how to write compilers and systems in NQP. We're working on improving the error messages and handling, and converting the remaining pieces of NQP that are still in Peer to write those in the high-level NQP itself. For the projects that currently use this, of course, Rakudo does. It's kind of the reason that NQP exists. There's a TCL implementation on Parrot that Will Khalid has been working on. He had been working on it for years in Peer, and it didn't use any of the old Parrot compiler toolkit. It actually predated that. And he got tired of hearing from all the people talking about all the cool things they could do with their compilers written in the compiler toolkit. And finally I said, all right, I'll rewrite TCL for you using the compiler toolkit, or at least get it started. And so I did that over a day, and now he's busy doing making that work and likes it much better. Within Parrot, there's a program called ops to C. It takes Parrot opcode files and converts them to C. That used to be written in Perl 5, and they rewrote it in NQP. They wanted Parrot to be a bit more self-hosting, and they need some other changes. So that's actually written in NQP. And there's a library programming language weird thing, I don't know what it is. It's called Michaud, and it's written in NQP. And there's more projects that have been coming to as well. If you're interested in NQP some more, the primary location is at GitHub in the Perl 6 account under the NQPRX repo. So you can fork it, clone it, download it, play with it. It's very easy to build. It's self-building, much like the Rakudo compiler is. So it'll automatically grab a copy of Parrot for you and download it and install it if you need it. You can join us on Perl 6 on Freenode if you have questions about NQP. You can also ask on Parrot, but generally they just send you to the Perl 6 channel. So you can go there first. And with that, I'll just take more questions. Any other questions?
How fast is NQP compared to?
Oh, it's much faster. It's far faster because it has to do much less. The part that makes Rakudo, there are many things that make Rakudo slow. The part that makes Rakudo slow at startup, for example, is that it has to go build all of its classes that it's going to be using for the runtime, and it has to establish all the runtime methods. NQP doesn't have that problem. So startup time for NQP is like almost instantaneous because your virtual machine already has it. When NQP compiles code, it compiles directly to opcodes. So that if I have an add operation, it takes 2 arguments and generates a single paired opcode for that. Whereas in Rakudo, if I have a plus operation, that's actually a multi-level call. So it actually has to go look at the types of the operands and figure it out from there. So Rakudo is much slower than NQP because it has to do so much more than what NQP does. But it's pretty quick. Yes?
Which license will NQP work?
it will undoubtedly be a Creative Commons license. Just like the using Perl system, it's going to have the same license. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. I couldn't see it. Every time he has it, I have a talk. I know. Yeah, well,